At number 4 is Ole Miss. And I know Ole Miss lost 4 of their top 5 pass catchers from last year, but Dalton, they replenished that receiving core in the transfer portal. De'Zhaun Stribling transferred in from Oklahoma State. He was one of the 30 most valuable receivers in the nation last year, according to our wins above average metric. Also, Harrison Wallace III was also one of the 30 most valuable receivers last year, the leading wide receiver for Penn State last year. He led all Penn State receivers with 723 receiving yards last year. And then also, Caden Lee is back for another year. He's not a transfer, but he's back for another year after a strong sophomore year at Ole Miss. He tied for 6th among SEC receivers with 38 receiving first downs or touchdowns. And also, Dalton, they might have the best tight end room in college football as well, because they got Luke Haas transferring in from Arkansas. He's one of my top 10 tight ends in the country going into next year. And a guy who just missed my list is Daquan Wright, who I think is at least a top 15 tight end in college football going to next year as well. Again, Haas, my number 10 tight end in the country, and then Daquan Wright, 75.8 receiving grade over the last 2 years, 4th among returning Power 4 tight ends. So maybe the best tight end room in the nation, and then they really replenished their wide receiver room in the transfer portal with guys like De'Zhaun Stribling and Harrison Wallace III, and also bringing back Caden Lee, too.
Yeah, I think Austin Simmons is going to be just fine. Obviously, with Lane Kiffin calling the plays, they're always going to find a way to score points. But that trio of receivers you mentioned, Stribling and Wallace, can get vertical. Caden Lee's a really good route runner in the slot. And I do like that tight end duo. And not just because they're both good players, but they're both very different players. I think Haas can line up all over the place and get vertical, get down the seams more so than Caden Prieskorn did for them previously. And then Daquan Wright, I think, is going to feature a lot in the RPO game. He's really good at picking up yards after catch and turning kind of easy throws into explosive plays, right? So I think, as always, Ole Miss, they have a depth of weapons. Lane Kiffin's going to get vertical. It's just about protecting Austin Simmons, and I think he's a guy we're not talking about enough. I think, especially with the weapons that he has, that he's going to put up some big numbers this year.
Oh, yeah.
I think in the little bit that he showed us last year, he looked good, and I think he's going to be well prepared and certainly well surrounded in this offense. Ole Miss's offense is not going anywhere. It's just a matter of, I think, if they can run the ball and get the defense. They lost a lot of defensive talent, but their passing game, they're going to be just fine with all these weapons.
He's an Ole Miss quarterback, man. He could be putting up huge numbers if you and I are running out routes out there for him. So
Lane just finds a way to get him
crazy.
open. There's always somebody just flying open downfield somehow, and that's going to be the case again this year.
They've got so much talent, though, in that receiving core. I know they lost 4 of their top 5 receivers, including Trey Harris, right, who was a superstar for them. But they really did well in the transfer portal. Once again, Ole Miss did, to replenish that receiving core. So check in at number 4 on this list. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.